Should be agitated.
All good?
Yep.
Right. Yep, we're on.
Good evening, everyone. I declare the meeting open. I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional lands of the Cubby Cubby people, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I know that everyone is in attendance.
We got an apology from Councillor Finzel.
Except for Councillor Finzel, who has tendered her apology due to a family matter. I'm going to move a motion to suspend standing orders.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkie. I'm moving a motion to suspend standing orders. I believe Councillor Stockwell would like to address the table.
We just need to have a...
I'll second that one.
All in favour?
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I rise with a sad motion to put before Council, and that is that I'd like the Noosa Council to express its sincere condolences on the passing of former Councillor Heather Melrose, and to acknowledge Heather's significant contribution to the Noosa community.
I'll second that motion.
So, councillors, Heather was a councillor here from 91 to 97, and then again from 2000 to 2004. Many will know that she was a very strong environmental activist. What you might not know is, at the age of 8 and 9, she was winning piano and violin competitions against adults. By the time she was 16, she had offers of international scholarships to go to Oxford for piano, and by the time she was 18, she was in the Queensland Symphony Orchestra. She was also the dux of her school at maths. And so when she retired to Noosa, she bought a lovely house overlooking Woodland Drive, overlooking Emu Swamp at Peregian. So Emu Swamp, for those who don't know, is the part of the Noosa National Park that was burnt last year. And there was a proposal put in front to turn the national park as we know it into a space theme park, commercial development and large housing estate, as we occasionally see like currently is in front of the Coolum community. That's when she got active. So came here to retire like many, had an accomplished career, a brilliant mind, and started the battle against that space theme park. She then became a project officer with the Noosa Parks Association in Greening Noosa, and anyone who's enjoyed the parklands in Noosa Spit can thank Heather Melrose's organising ability, because she was the one that chose all the trees, organised the landscaping, and told us council at the time where to put everything, and then the community came along and planted all those trees. And it was, in fact, when she got into council, she spent 4 years researching the TM Burke lease to try and find the statutory loopholes. And one of the biggest battles she fought was under the banner of Save Today Our Parkland. And I'm told that she would catch the Skinner bus maybe once, twice a week down to the archives to try and find just what was that little key point that she needed to be able to argue for the preservation of what is one of the most unusual high dune heaths left in southeast Queensland, because it is high, it's a dune, it overlooks the ocean, and obviously there's not many of those left that haven't got houses on them. It was actually 26 years ago, probably to this weekend, that several hundred people lined David Lowe Way to protest against any development of the Marcus High Dunes, and that was all organised by Heather Melrose. I know the date because it's 3 weeks since my daughter's birthday on the weekend, and my daughter was 3 weeks old when she participated in her first protest. That one. In her time as a councillor, her diligence and her eye for detail was one of the driving forces behind a whole lot of things, and she was instrumental in that famous 1997 strategic plan. So, councillors, I think it is appropriate for us to honour Heather's contribution to this community. Our place of the world is a better place for her deciding to retire here and put her many skills and her commitment to this community for so many years with a few moments of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it wrong?
Anyone else like to? Councillor?
I think Councillor Stockwell has summed up Heather's contribution to the community very eloquently. I do recall being very impressed as a young journalist coming into this chamber and reporting on council meetings and being able to listen to Heather's debate. She was always very well researched. She had a great eye for detail, as Brian said. Her works have left Noosa in a better place than what she found it. That's something we as councillors can aspire to. And most importantly, I always found her a very empathetic and kind person in her dealings with people. And she was one of the inspirations for me to enter local government, and impressed on me the value of local government to its community. And I hope she rests in peace.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Stockwell. Thank you, Councillor Wilkie.
Thank you. Back to a vote.
Yeah, all put that to vote in favour. Thank you. I might move a motion to resume standing orders. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkie. So, all in favour? So we resume. The first item on the agenda is the confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 16th of July.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do you have a second? Thank you, Councillor Wegner. All in favour? Thank you. There are no mayoral minutes. I believe there is one petition. Councillor Lanston.
I'm tabling a petition that's requesting council to apply for a moratorium to the rollout of 5G telecommunications infrastructure in the Noosa region be received and referred to the Chief Executive Officer to determine appropriate action. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkie. All in favour? Thank you. Councillor Lanston, do you want to speak to that motion? Okay. There are no notified motions, no presentations and no deputations. Well, that brings us to item 8, which is the consideration of the committee recommendations. In regard to the Planning and Environment Committee recommendations on page 4 of the agenda, items 1 through to 3 were referred to the General Committee. Item 4 is the Development Assessment Fees and Charges variations for the 1st of January 2020 to 30 June 2020. Item 5 is the Environment and Sustainable Development Department update for the 4th quarter 2019-20. Do I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Wegner. Seconder. Councillor Lanston, thank you. All in favour? Thank you, unanimous. Thank you. On page 6, next are the Services and Organisation Committee recommendations. Item 1 is the appointment of the 2021 show holiday. Item 2 is the tender consideration plan, council facility design and construction. Item 3, Community Services Department update, 4th quarter 2019-20. Item 4, Corporate Services Development Department update for the 4th quarter 2019-20. Item 5, Noosa Holiday Parks update report to 30 June 2020. Item 6, Executive Services Development Department update for the 4th quarter 2019-20. Item 7, Capital Program Delivery Status 30 June 2020. Item 8, Infrastructure Services Department Update 4th Quarter 2019-20. And items 9 and 10 were referred to the General Committee. Do I have a movement? Thank you, Councillor Drustovic. Thank you, Councillor Wilkie. All in favour of Esma? Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you. Next are the General Committee recommendations on page 9. The first that we look at is the development application for material change of use for visitor accommodation, type 3 at 500/90 Beach Road, Noosa North Shore. I believe we have a potential conflict of interest declaration.
I declare I have a perceived conflict of interest, and I've decided to leave the meeting room for the debate and decision on this matter. Although I believe I can act impartially and in the public interest, I have, upon reflection, come to the decision that a reasonable man on the street would consider my long friendship with the applicant, although not close and personal, and his involvement in my election campaign, although not financial, and my children's friendship with the applicant's children as constituting a perceived conflict of interest. I thank the councillors for trusting me to be impartial and remain in the room and contribute to the debate in the general meeting. However, on reflection, I do not believe that I have satisfied the reasonable man test and will therefore leave the room and not partake in the debate and will not vote on this matter.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong.
I'll move the recommendation of the General Committee.
I'll second it.
Don't wish to speak to it, the debate's been had.
Yep, all in favour? 4 to 1.
Just wanted to, you don't need to call again and put
Oh,
your hand up.
okay. Oh, sorry, against. Councillor Stewart. 4 Councillors Jurcevic, Wagner, Stockwell and Wilkie.
So who was the second on that one?
Me.
Joe. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You've got me twice, Kath. Yeah. WEBYA.
Me.
Where's yours? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is, in regard to this, is the Climate Change Response Plan.
Yeah, I wish to move a slightly amended motion on this. I wish to move that the Council note the report by the Principal Strategic Planner to the Planning and Environment Committee meeting on the Climate Change Response Plan dated 11th of August 2020, and A, approve the project plan provided at Attachment 1, B, approve the Community and Stakeholder Engagement Plan provided at Attachment 2 to the report, with the addition of a further community engagement outcome to be listed in the aims of the plan as follows. And that is to read, to achieve greater council, community and industry commitment to the implementation of the plan as a result of meaningful collaboration during its development, and other such minor amendments as are determined appropriate by the project control group to achieve this outcome. And C, to approve the updated Climate Emergency Response Plan PCG Charter provided at Attachment 3 to the report.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
I do so, Councillor. We did discuss this at the General Committee. I just believe that it's important on plans such as this that it is really a plan for both council and the community. There is no way that we can achieve any significant impact on the huge challenge of adapting and mitigating climate change locally unless in developing that plan we collaborate, we partner and we build commitment to implementation of the plan. And to me, that is a key outcome and therefore should be listed in the stakeholder engagement plan.
Would anyone else like to speak to this motion?
I'll speak. In preparing for the impacts of climate change, we must respond and determine appropriate interventions to build resilience and mitigate risk. We must prioritise those threats that have a high priority of occurring in the foreseeable future. We must ensure that we have relevant and up-to-date data. We must engage with experts and, most importantly, as Councillor Stockwell has just stated, we must collaborate with the community to find solutions. That is, partner with the public, especially those that are highly impacted in each aspect of the decision, including the development of alternatives and the identification of the preferred solution. This is critical. And finally, as a council, we must be careful not to overstep our role and responsibility to proactively plan and prepare for impacts of climate change in order to discharge our duty of care, which requires us to make decisions in good faith and to exercise due diligence. I'm happy to support Councillor Brian Stockwell's amendment and recommendation to approve the Climate Change Response Plan.
Anyone else? All in favour?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right, applied. All in favour? Thank you. Unanimous, thanks, Kath. Item 3, Planning and Environment Court Appeal number D102 of 2020, refusal of ancillary dwelling unit at 1/33 Gateway Drive, Noosaville. Item 4, Operational Plan Progress Report 4th Quarter 2019-20. Item 5, Year in Review 2019-20. Item 6, Budget Review 1 for the 2021 financial year. Item 7, Financial Performance Report July 2020. Item 8, Fire Management Actions Update. Item 9, Planning and Environment Court Appeal number D61 of 2018, refusal of application to reconfigure a lot 1 into 4 lots at 135 Lake WEBYA Drive, Noosaville. Would anyone like to speak to that?
I'll move the General Committee recommendations.
Thank you. I'll second that. All in favour?
Sorry, can I speak to item 9?
Well,
Sort of gone past that.
gone past it. We're actually, the resolution that's currently before the council is the adoption of all of the recommendations of the General Committee, except where they've otherwise been dealt with separately. And the two that have been dealt with separately are the one, the application on the Noosa North Shore and the climate change one. So this recommendation is to deal with all of those other recommendations from the General Committee.
Oh, okay. I just wanted an opportunity to speak to number 9. I can't
The
do
opportunity's passed.
I can't.
The opportunity's passed. We've actually moved the
If you were
resolution.
innovative, you could talk about how you were adopting that recommendation and why you're adopting it.
But we've already had the vote.
I've already had the vote.
So the answer is no.
You've got to get it when we're there, really.
Okay, we've already had the vote. So there are no reports direct to the ordinary meeting. There are no confidential items. There are no questions submitted for public question time. The next meeting will be held on Thursday the 17th of September at 5 p.m. Thank you. There are no more items on the agenda. I declare this meeting closed at 5:20.